defensively, second half, after that long 100-minute drive, it seemed like, with a 15 plays, they got a touchdown and then missed the extra point. The run game, Joe Mixon was eating us up. And I thought we were going to kind of stymie their run game because Tank Dell's gone. You just cut Deontay Johnson. Your Robert Woods is just a punt return. He's not even playing, getting offensive snaps. You're dealing with Xavier Hutchinson and John Mechie and Dalton Schultz, who's also all these guys that were on the injury report this week. And once the Joe Mixon limps into this game, he potentially he wasn't going to play, but nonetheless, he looked like the Pro Bowl that he was this year in this game. And I thought you only have to worry about Mixon and Nico. Then Mixon goes off tonight and has a really great game. But after that, it seemed like after that that drive, we kind of just hummed in the blitz. I mean, 8 sacks. Karlaftis 3. Karlaftis nearly gets half of what he had during the regular season in this game.
It's great,
which is pretty wild. What did you guys think of the game plan that Spags had? I know you mentioned Justin Reed was flying around, JD, and it seemed like he was one of the few who was flying around popping, because it seemed like Houston was doing that on their side of the ball. It seemed like Justin Reed was the only one kind of doing that outside or edge rushers who were getting to the quarterback. It seemed like he was the only one kind of flying around out there, playing free and loose out there. What did you make of Spags' game plan today, JD?
I mean, I like his game plan. Thing is, guys just got to make plays. Guys got to get off blocks. The fundamental things that you have to do, right? The one where Joe Mixon was able to get the first down. I think I was arguing with a guy on Twitter about it because he was talking about Nick Bolton. And Nick Bolton, he's supposed to be the number one run stopper, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so everything's on Nick Bolton to stop the run. I got it. Okay. So it had nothing to do with the defensive tackles, had nothing to do with the defensive ends. Those guys got to get off blocks. Third quarter, we can stop them for nothing. Joe Mixon's run up the middle of the field, and a lot of it was because he's putting ourselves out of position. And a lot of it starts up front. So as good as those guys did play against what we start seeing, spurts of those doing a great job. The defense did a great job. I'm not taking anything away from them. But the run is concerning. And we just weren't doing a good job stopping the run. That means coming off the blocks. That means the defensive tackles have to take 2. That means the defensive end has to use his hands to get off and shed blocks. You got to condense the hole, come off and make the play. We weren't doing it. And so sometimes when you put yourself out of position, you hurt the guys behind you. And so one of the points I was trying to make is, well, shoot, Nick's trying to make tackles, but the guard's coming up to him. So that means that the defensive tackle is not holding 2. That's what you try to do. You try to at least, hold that guard from going up to the second level, or the same thing, Drew Tranquil being in the position. So they did some things, obviously, counters and flows and whatnot to get the linebackers moving, and then you just create a wall. That's what happens. But Justin Reed going out there, man, playing at a high level, hitting everything. I think he had a vendetta out. That was without a doubt. He wanted to show everybody, listen, it's just not going to be that easy walking up in here without me saying something about this. So I thought he played a great game. And then, as far as everybody else, behind him, I mean, McDuffie was blanketing as well. We couldn't get off the field on third down when we needed to. Omenihu had spots. He did some great things. Omenihu, Chris Jones came in spots, did it when he needed to do. Karlaftis talking about the 3 sacks that he had. FAU came in, made a big play. So everybody contributed for this win and just accumulated for them just giving up 12 points. They give up 12 points for this game, okay? Not the 14, 12, right? So I think they did an amazing job. But when Spags brought the pressure, start bringing the blitz, he worked C.J. Stroud into a false sense of security is what he did. And then all of a sudden he disrupted every bit of that comfort. That's what happened. And so fourth quarter, he just started bringing blitzes from everywhere. And they had no answer. They had zero answer for that at all, right? And so I thought that was brilliant by Spags because I was waiting. When is the pressure going to come?
I know.
Where's the pressure? And so Spags is like, y'all just, okay, shoot. They gave him their best shot. We see.
He put his scope down. It was like a hunter, and he was just like, all right. That's what I felt like. I felt like it was like a one of those Animal Planet videos where you see like a cheetah going after something you prey, a little limping antelope or something.
he's talking real, like this into the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's sitting out there about 350 yards away. We're going to take him down real easy. Yeah. And
you sound like you're commentating golf right now.
Oh yeah. well, I'm behind the scope when it be silent.
No, yeah.
Right. So
Stroud's approaching the 5th fairway here.
Mm-hmm.
He's 2 behind par.
Well, that's as calm as Fags was. Fags was doing that. I'm sure he was.
Yep.
Talking that way to Bolton. Now, look, y'all just calm down. I'm gonna bring the blitz. Don't worry about it.
It's coming. It's coming. Relax.
Yeah,
I'm trying to see what they're doing here first. Then I can let me adjust.
Mm-hmm.
JD, I know you're defending Bolton on Twitter. I have a question here from Taryn Young. He's saying, talk about Nick in pass protection. I think he means talk about Nick Bolton in coverage. Is he responsible for the midfield? Is what he's asking.
Depends. What I saw Nick doing, he had man coverage on the back. So what ends up happening is, if it's man coverage, the count goes, he's got number 3 usually. Okay. And so if they're pulling him out of the middle, which, that's what teams do, then he's got to play his responsibility. Now, the thing is, he can call banjo. Banjo means you got my guy and I got yours. So he can call banjo, banjo, banjo. He could pass those things off to the guy that has his guy, right? So in essence, number 2 becomes number 3, 3 becomes number 2. That guy takes number 2, number 3, 2 becomes number 3, who's Nick Bolton's. But if he just stays with it, then it's not his. So everybody has a responsibility. And that's what I was watching. I was just watching how they was pulling him out of the middle, because that's what was called on the defense. Now, what ended up happening was they run basically a 3-by-1 set, okay, or 3-by-2, however you want to call it. That safety who's coming down knows he has that slot guy, which is another problem and issue I have, is sometimes I see our safeties on slot covering. I never like that. Never like that at all. But when you're asked to deliver and react to that slot guy on a slant or across the middle, you got to see it, read, react, and come down immediately to make that play. I think we're just a step behind on that. It's hard to do as safety. I'm not taking anything away from doing that, but that is your responsibility. You have that guy. So it depends on the coverage. Teron, that's the answer. And all that other stuff too.
Want to make some quick cash and have fun during the NFL playoffs? Well, it's time to embrace your inner underdog. Over the last 3 weeks, we have given 11 selections, and we have cashed on 10 of those, predicting higher or lower on multiple different player statistics. So we are ready to continue this heater into the playoffs. So if you have yet to download the Underdog app, do so now and get free cash. Click the link in the description or use promo code CHIEFCONCERNS, one word, to claim your free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's NFL playoff season, so let's continue to keep the good vibes in 2025. Major Sheep Bastard says they kept completing those deep dig routes on third downs right behind our linebackers in coverage. That was concerning as well. I mean, I will say Nico Collins is better than any receiver that Buffalo or Baltimore has that will be playing next week. And Nico is just out of this world. I will say Baltimore and Buffalo, they have a lot of mid-tier guys, but they don't have a wide receiver 1 like the one we just played today. So that's one thing that I will say. Yeah. Yes, bigger opponent we're playing next week as far as a better opponent overall, but they don't have a wide receiver 1 like we had to play against this week. So I think it'll be a little different next week.
The running games next week are far superior to this.
Far?
Wait.
Well, if you add in quarterback, yes, but some of the running back wise.
Well,
Mixon's better than James Cook. I mean, I would rather have Joe Mixon in my backfield.
No, but I'm also counting the quarterback who runs.
I don't know now. James Cook is he's cooking. Both of them jokers did a good job this year. I think
I'm counting quarterbacks so it's not even close anymore.
If you're counting that, then yes, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to worry about dual threats on both those teams. So at least with this one, I know Stroud can run. He's not a runner. I wouldn't call Stroud a runner, right? Those other two guys next week, they're looking to pull whereas this week we weren't as worried about it. And he still, what did he run for today? He ran for
like 40 yards,
42 yards, man. That's a lot. That's too much. But, next week I'm more worried about that. And they had a better number one receiver this week for sure. I do agree with that. It's funny about the defense. We had as many sacks as the Texans had quarterback hits today. That's how many sacks we had. It's crazy. We had, I think, 15 quarterback hits. Was it? 14. It's crazy. But one of my buddies texted me, and he's like, Texans are pretty much leading in almost every single category, but like you're winning by double digits. It's insane. I don't know how to explain it. And I was like, well, sacks. That's one category where we are emphatically winning. And it pretty much sums everything up, though, because you look at their drives in the second half. Stroud went 6 for 6 out of the gates on the touchdown drive. They looked incredible on that drive. Everything was working for them, right? 1 for 6 in the next 2 drives. And then the next drive, he was 6 for 6 again, but he was sacked 4 times that drive. So even though he was on it, we just kept getting him back, pulling him back into just rough situations constantly. That kind of just summed it up, where when we gave up completions, we made up for it with either pressure or a sack. I mean, going 6 for 6 and not going anywhere, that's crazy how you think about that, right? But yeah, it was just him with a scope, picking him off, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, negative plays equal up to, whatever it is that you're doing as far as, completions. So
FAU, man, FAU.
Mm-hmm.
Look good on that second. He looked good on that. I forgot. I think it was the Damian Pierce tackle he had by shedding the blocker and getting him down. That was a nice play.
Nice play. Nice play.
Real nice play.
Yeah. Because that pushed him out of field goal range, or at least it pushed them, to the point that, I forgot how it ended, but yeah, I think that's what it was. But it was a nice play on him.
Yeah.
But when we kind of watched, kind of this second half, and Thunder Dan was saying CJ can absolutely run, but in Mahomes style, picking their moments, yes, he's more of that type of guy. When we know if it's the Ravens that come in, Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, running 50 times in cold weather, that's going to be their advantage.
That's their offense.
That's their offense.
That's their offense.
Yeah.
Stroud running is not their offense.
No.
That's what I meant.
Not that he can't run it, but he can. I mean, seen that today. Same thing with Josh Allen. If Josh Allen's and those guys will be able to make it, I mean, they got Cook, and Josh Allen takes his time to take off running. The question is, are we going to be able to hold up with our front seven? That's the question. And the thing is, if they start leaning on us early and often, that wears us down. So we're going to have to do some things differently up front. We're going to have to play a much better game than we did from our front seven in the run game, okay, than we did today. Make no mistake about it, because when we see either team that comes in, it's going to be a heavy dose of run. We got to know it. That's going to be the first thing they go to. Why? Because, like you said, they don't have a Nico Collins, in Buffalo, right? And Amari Cooper, but he's not Nico Collins anymore. When you start thinking about, Baltimore, Zay is he, what is going to be his situation? Yeah. So that's the thing with him. And then is Mark Andrews and Likely. So they'll probably start utilizing those guys too. Why? Because Likely hit us over the head for a lot of different things as far as yards and whatnot. And so it's going to be a good match, whatever we see, but we got to do a much better job against the run and, interjecting the run into what we want to do offensively. We have to. So
I didn't notice we didn't really use a quarterback spy today, and I feel like when we do play Josh Allen and Lamar, we will be actively using, whether it's Chanel or Tranquil, to spy Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson next week. I feel like that's one thing. Yeah, Stroud can run it, but he doesn't actively do it often throughout the game.
No.
So not enough to warrant a spy. Whereas the other two next week, they will have a guy who's going to be kind of trailing them throughout the game. That's also another thing. I know people online were saying, if we can't contain CJ Stroud, how are we going to contain Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen? Well, defensively, we'll have a different game plan for those two quarterbacks.
Yes.
Right.
Versus him.
Yeah, we opened it up for him. Yeah, just, open it up for him to run.
Yeah.
So
what did you? So Jalen Watson had to come back and play a lot more snaps than we anticipated. He didn't start the game out. I think Najee started. Then he came in when McDuffie went out for a little bit, scared the heck out of me. But then he came. McDuffie comes right back in, almost gets interception. That's a nice pass deflection.
I know.
Which was fantastic. But Watson looked good. I see Taryn Young in the chat say a great game from Jalen Watson. I thought Watson didn't miss a beat from his long layoff.
I got to watch the film even more to see. Of course, after a lot going on, but he did look like he looked good. Like you said, we knew he was going to get some snaps in, and he looked good. So that was that's positive to see that he's out there, just playing in itself. But no, I think he looked pretty good, man. Like I said, once I dive into this film even more, I get to bring you a little bit more as far as the opinion on how he looked for the game.
Yeah, he was out there. He came out healthy. He didn't get beat like a drum, obviously, in the game. Those are the positive ones. Just get his feet under him and get used to playing again.
Mm-hmm. And also unscathed in the injury department. I know we had some scares. McDuffie had a scare. Brian Cook had a scare. Justin Reed had a scare. And all those guys ended up coming back and playing in the game today. And then CJ or Chris Jones, he was getting his calf massage on the sidelines. And a lot of people were scared about that at first. But everyone needs a little massage every so often to keep that part warmed up.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, unscathed in the injury department defensively, so that's a beautiful thing. I think on both sides of the ball, really. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.